What's going on? It's the Big Rig Bull Texas Truck Accident Lawyer Reshard Alexander back in the building again. So I've been working all day and I'm about to take a break. Today's CLE vlog, whatever you want to call it, big board session, is going to be about the shipment of Class 3 flammable liquids in hazardous materials cargo trucks. Now that's a run-on sentence for sure. So yeah, it's going to be about Class 3 flammable liquids. But a little bit about today. I've just been pretty much working for the most part here at the office. On the weekends, I try to knock out as much of this website stuff as I can, because I'm transitioning over from my old website to a much better, much newer one, a much more applicable one to what I'm currently focusing on. So there's not been time for like a grand reveal, and there won't be time for one until like maybe 2 months from now. Because as I said before, if I somehow magically am able to pull all this together in like 45 days, I'll be amazed. Especially considering the fact that I potentially have a trial coming up in September. I don't know whether it will go or not, but I'm pretty sure I do have a trial setting. So I'll manage this, do the stuff on the weekends, and then handle the legal work, legwork during the week, and that's all, folks. So I'll see you up at the board session in a few minutes. What's going on? It's the Big Rig Bull Texas Truck Accident Lawyer Reshard Alexander here again for episode 56. We are covering Class 3 flammable liquids, hazardous materials today. So we're just going to hit the high notes, because if you notice, this board is not full like it usually is, because there isn't much to cover for this particular situation. But what I will say is that if you have further questions, you can reach out to me, or you can always open up your handy CFR and reference Part 397, Transportation of Hazardous Materials, and read yourself. But here, without further ado, let's just jump right into this. So when we're talking about Class 3 flammable liquids, we're talking about mostly bonding and grounding. And why are we talking about bonding and grounding? Because more than likely, if you are transporting this type of material and it's being loaded into some type of container, the thing that you have to worry about the most as a professional truck driver, or if you are reviewing a hazmat case such as this that deals with Class 3 flammable liquids, a spark more than likely could ignite the tank and cause a huge explosion. So that is like a key concern if you're dealing with a rear end collision, an under ride collision, anything like that, any type of accident or wreck like that. If you're dealing with a hazmat truck, this is the type of situation you could potentially be also dealing with after examining the wreckage. So when we're talking about bonding and grounding, this is probably the most important thing to understand, because most of the other stuff is similar to Class 1 explosives and Class 2 gases as well. So bonding and grounding. Okay, so the containers must have metallic bonds or ground conductors attached to avoid a static charge when you're basically loading or unloading, if they're not metallic themselves. The bonding must be attached to the vehicle, then to the container that will be filled with the flammable liquid. And this has to be done before you actually start to load the flammable liquid into the actual container. All right. Now, when you're loading through an open hole filling hole, you have to attach one end of a bond wire to the stationary system piping or the integral steel framing, and the other end to the cargo tank shell. And you have to connect this before the hole is opened, because as I said again, the most dangerous part of this situation, other than driving it on the road, is filling it and a spark igniting around that liquid and just completely blowing everyone to smithereens. When you're unloading a Class 3 flammable liquids hazmat truck through an open hole filling system, you have to use and you're using a suction piping system. This means that the electrical connection must be maintained from the cargo tank to the receiving tank the entire time that this is happening. And you also, cannot turn it off or cut it off, take it away before it actually finishes doing the job. Okay. Now, if you're loading through a vapor type top or bottom connection, and there's no release of vapor that could cause a spark to occur, then you don't have to use bonding or grounding. Okay, that's like the exception there. However, the contact of the closed connection must be made before the flow starts, and it must not be broken until the flow is complete. As I said before, the main thing that you're worried about in all this is you're worried about a potential explosion from static charge or some type of fire, smoking material around the hole. Unloading through a non-vapor type connection into a stationary tank, no bonding or grounding is required if the metallic filling connection is in contact with the filling hole at all times. Okay, the rest of this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and go over it, but you already kind of know what it is. When it comes to no smoking is allowed within 25 feet at any point of a Class 3 flammable liquids hazmat truck. So this means that, you can't be in the cab smoking, you can't be within 25 feet of it smoking while it's loading or unloading. It's just a horrible, 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 horrible idea. And this applies even if it is empty or it is loaded, okay? The next thing is the cargo tank attendants. We talked about this before. The cargo must be attended by a qualified person even when it's loaded or being unloaded, okay? The person must be awake. They must have an unobstructed view. Excuse me. They must be awake. They must have an unobstructed view and must be within 25 feet of the tank at the time that it's loading or unloading or stationary. The person pretty much needs to know, as we said before, the nature of the hazard. They must be instructed in emergency procedures of how to deal with a situation like that, and they must have the ability to move the vehicle if necessary in the event of an emergency. When it comes to cargo tanks, we covered that yesterday in Class 2 gases. As I said before, there are more specifications for a cargo heater being used or employed while driving this type of truck. And I'm not going to go into all of that because, like I said, it would just take up too much time, and I don't feel like writing all that out. But what I will tell you is that the vehicle is equipped with a combustion cargo heaters that may transport Class 3 materials, but it's only if pretty much the same situation as yesterday. The heater is powered by diesel fuel or propane, and the heater is catalytic. Now, it must be non-sparking or explosive proof, and the electrical apparatus must be in the cargo area. There can be no combustion apparatus located in the cargo area, no connection for air to return between the cargo area and the combustion apparatus, and the heating system must not be able to get any higher or exceed 129 degrees Fahrenheit or 54 degrees Celsius. Okay? As we said before, with parking, with Class 1 and Class 2 materials, the reality of it is that Class 3 materials should not be parked within 5 feet of a travel portion of any roadway, okay, at any time. So the last thing is that the warning devices. We covered this before in Class 1 and Class 2 materials as well. Warning devices. You can't have any type of warning device or signal that produces a flame. You can't have any type of liquid burning flares. You can't have any type of fuses or oil lanterns on this type of truck, because the main thing with hazardous materials is a heightened sense of safety. Because you're dealing with cargo that, it's completely dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous. And so that's pretty much it for Class 3 flammable liquids. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. My number is always listed on YouTube. Please subscribe to this channel if you like what you're seeing, so you can be aware of when I have other posts come up daily. And that'll be pretty much it. This is the Big Rig Bull Texas Truck Accident Lawyer, Reshard Alexander, signing out. And I hope you have a blessed day wherever you are. Take it easy.